Hi, so I'm doing another update on my Korean, and I do want to do more updates, if only because doing these updates makes me feel more accountable, and maybe it motivates me to study Korean more than I might otherwise. So yeah, thank you very much for anyone watching the channel. I know I don't really do much how-to stuff, and I don't edit my videos, so it's just a blog, me talking about studying Korean and how it's going for me. So last I spoke, I had been on a break from Korean. I've been playing World of Warcraft and had come back to Korean, mostly because I got a comment. And also, I mean, of course, I've been thinking about coming back to Korean and studying languages. But yeah, coronavirus and being isolated in my apartment, for some people, this has been this wonderful opportunity for them to study languages. And for me, it seems like it's been this wonderful opportunity for me to get lonely and feel the need to just do something that makes just connect with anyone through the internet. Which could be speaking Japanese sometimes with Japanese people, but because of the time difference, that doesn't work so well and ends up being playing online video games with other people. Anyway, but back to Korean. I've been studying Korean, thankfully, and it's going pretty well. I'm pretty happy. I also, so a couple things I'm doing this weekend in particular. I'm not sure, I guess the past week, I was thinking to change up a little bit how I study grammar. Grammar is coming along. It's slow. I think for everyone, the process is always slow. You kind of go, maybe you jump in at first, you kind of scan through all the grammar as quickly as you can, kind of an overview, hoping that something will stick and that when you go to engage Korean, that you will recognize it and that will help it stick. Yeah, anyway, you do what you can. And one thing, of course, you've probably heard is you should study grammar the same way that you study vocabulary. And for me, studying vocabulary means using flashcards or something similar to flashcards. Like I've had a vocabulary book, but basically, vocabulary, isolated vocabulary, and then a definition with maybe example sentences or whatnot. If it's like an Anki card, I can copy and paste, and that isn't too horrible to set up. And that's how I do it. I've tried sentence cards because the age-adders all say, and then some other people too, but the age-adders especially are all like, sentence cards is where it's at. That's how you do it. That's the only way to study. If you're not using sentence cards, you're doing this extremely inefficiently. You will not have the context in your head to understand the vocabulary that you're studying, and nothing will stick. You won't be able to use it. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible concept, just using regular flashcards. Well, for me, I found that in my experience, sentence flashcards take more mental energy just to go through and to do. And so any flashcards, depending on the kind of day I'm having, can be like that. But isolate just regular vocabulary cards. Side 1 has the vocabulary, nice, short, sweet. Side 2 can have sentences. Side 2 can have anything. Should have, maybe not too much information overload. I don't want to have like 20 example sentences. Probably 1 is enough, maybe up to 3 if this vocabulary word is used in some different contexts, but usually just 1. And I purposely probably would never set up more than 1. And that's what works best for me. So how do I study grammar then, if that's how I study vocabulary? Well, I have a grammar deck that was made for sentences. I went in and redid it so that side 1 has the isolated grammar. So like done is this, if I'm saying it right, done is this kind of sentence, this conjugation that you can throw onto verbs or adjectives to be like, give the sense of used to. And I'll put this done on side 1. Side 2 will have the example sentence and the explanation. And when I go to review, having side 1 just have this simple thing makes it just less painful. Yeah, so I changed that up this weekend, and I'm actually, I'm a little bit excited. I'm like, yeah, this will do it, because I kind of feel like grammar, it's getting better. No matter what I do, as long as I'm doing something over time, it's slowly getting better. But I do think this could be more efficient. And I'm kind of excited to see how well this goes. I did 80 cards today. It wasn't too painful. I'm going to go and do some more. it feels just like I'm doing vocabulary, really, which is the whole idea. Whereas before, doing my grammar deck felt like I was doing grammar. And if I didn't have the mental fortitude, like if it was a Sunday or a Saturday, usually, then it just didn't happen. Or I'd only do like 5 to 10 cards. Obviously that's not the end of the world. That's still progress. But consistency is best, and this is better, I think. Yeah, and so I've been studying some of my other flashcards. I'm actually probably I'm gonna change all my flashcards up. So I kind of was mixing it up, doing both sentence and vocabulary. I'm gonna just make everything a vocabulary card. I have this really great deck. I think the Routledge. You can find this on the Anki shared deck list. The Routledge, frequency, vocabulary, the top 5,000 words. They have this for Korean and some other languages. And it's I guess like a $50 book if you purchase it, which I was always hesitant to purchase because that's a lot of money for a textbook. And I'm like, how much is this going to help me? Somebody went in and made an Anki deck using all of it, and it looks like they did a perfect job with it. And it's wonderful. So I recommend checking that out if you're interested. I'm interested. I already have the Evita's vocabulary deck, which I'm working off of. And so kind of switching that to a different deck is kind of depressing because I feel like I'm losing the progress, but I might do both. One will have sentences and one won't. Yeah, right. They're both so good. I can't choose between the two. Other than that, I've been watching K-drama. I have my Link account and I've been reading, but not too much. I've gotten into this K-drama. At first, I was actually reading the K-drama. So I would actually have it on studying with Netflix. I would go in and kind of read line by line what's happening, look up words I didn't know. That's probably the best thing I could do for my Korean. However, I wanted to know what happened next. I just turned on English subtitles and I'm just listening and watching. I am getting some practice because I am listening while I watch it, but it goes so fast so that anything I don't catch per se is gone, and I'm not going back to review it. But it's motivating, keeps me thinking of Korean. This is how I kind of studied Japanese. Wasn't the only thing that with anime, basically, I would watch lots of anime, and I would say the only thing that what I would do is kind of what you would say time boxing. Perhaps I'd watch anime for a bit, then pull up Anki and do flashcards for a bit, and that kept me going forward. It's good. It's not great though. You will not. I never felt like I had a breakthrough. I just had consistency, getting a little better, and so you kind of want to have. You got to do more. So I may finish this K-drama, but after I finish this K-drama, or even before, I'm going to go into Link and get some reading done. I'm thinking I might try to do something where like every other day, like maybe today I do K-drama, watch, it's you call it a lazy day. And the next day I'm going to read on Link. I think I'm probably going to try to do something like that. I signed up for some tutors with iTalki. I've had some bad experiences in the past with tutors canceling on me, which is depressing because I think to myself, wow, I'm not a good student or whatever. They don't like me. Some of them, they never even met me because it was supposed to be the first lesson that would happen. So clearly, maybe they're judging me by my appearance. I don't know. Most likely it's nothing to do with me. They're just not in the mood to teach a lesson, so they cancel is what I think. And if that happens once in a while, then yeah, no big deal. But it was happening like more than half the time for me. I was on a bad streak, so I was like, I'm done with iTalki. But I decided to go back in and give another chance. Part of the reason why is that I had money stored in my iTalki account, and I went looking for a tutor that looked responsible, someone who looked maybe like a professor type person, someone who would show up at the lesson, and in addition to someone who I would like to spend time with, studying. And I've done 2 lessons with this lady. She's lives in Toronto. She works as a translator. She charges more than your average iTalki tutor, but really it's at $27 an hour for a tutor. If I were teaching English, that would be probably what I would charge, regardless of my qualifications, just because my time, that's what it's worth to me, because I'll have to prepare a bit for the lesson anyway. And yeah, so that totally okay with that. I don't feel like it's expensive. I just know that there's other people on iTalki that will charge less. However, they won't show up sometimes. And as my Korean gets better, of course, I could maybe do some language exchanges or just finding anyone who is willing to listen to me speak Korean. It won't really matter that much. But right now, my Korean's not there, so I do want someone who's I guess you could say, nicer or just experienced with teaching Korean in general. So she's a good fit. I signed up for a couple more other tutors. I'm looking to try to maybe have a couple tutors, a little variety. She's available during the week for me. It looks like Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I just signed up for some tutors on the weekend. They're cheaper. I'm thinking as long as I have her once a week, then if the other tutors cancel, okay, it's all right. Not the end of the world. We'll see. Obviously, I really don't like tutors that cancel on me, especially the first lesson. But yeah, it won't be as depressing as long as I'm getting one lesson per week. Anyway, speaking practice, the age adders, everyone talks about how important input is and output. You don't want to output too early. It'll ruin your career. No, that's baloney. You should output as much as possible. I just think that if you really don't want to output, you shouldn't feel forced to. But until you start outputting, there's going to be a lot of holes in your language that you're not aware of until you go to try to do it. Yeah, it's like you can't read Korean like just studying from a textbook or going in a classroom. It's not going to teach you how to read Korean. You have to actually go out and read Korean. Listening to Korean, you're not going to be able doing the textbook, going to the classes is not really going to get you to be able to your listening comprehension. It's going to help, but it's not going to get your listening comprehension. You have to go out and actually listen to Korean, like podcasts or whatever, or listening to people talk and conversations. You got to go out and do it for real. And speaking, same thing. You got to go out and do it. And I absolutely think that these skills build on each other. So yeah, I know speaking is not going to get my vocabulary up to where I want it. And so I don't want to emphasize speaking too much. And I can't afford that anyway, because I have to pay lots of money for people to talk to me. Yeah. I guess that's where I don't have a whole lot more to say. But I'm pretty happy with my Korean. I've been consistent lately, and I'm excited. I guess I'm excited most about I just set it up today. My flashcard deck for my grammar flashcard deck. After I finish this video, I'm going to sit down and do that, and then I'm looking forward to my tutoring that I set up for the new tutors. If I could start having real conversations slowly with people in Korean, I think that would be just so cool, and that would be very motivating. So I'm really hoping. Reading Korean, to me, reading is this great way to learn your language, but I don't think it's going to be quite as rewarding as speaking. Actually, I know I'm still talking, but I wanted to end the video. But reflecting back on my experience with German. Speaking German, although fun, was not the rewarding experience for me, because Germans generally spoke English better than I spoke German, and they would reply to everything I said in English. Anyway, so for German, speaking was not where I got the reward. It was the input. It was the listening, the watching movies, listening to audiobooks, listening to newscasts, and reading books. That was what that motivated me to keep going. But with Japanese and with Korean, I think speaking probably is more enjoyable, more rewarding. Probably because they don't speak my language as well as a lot of Germans do. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video so far. I'm not sure if you found anything useful, but if you have any encouragement, any comments, anything at all, if you want to say, like thumbs up or not, whatever. Thank you for watching. Thanks.